I hit the wrong button. Merry Christmas, y'all.
Starting off strong.
Starting off with the stash of knowledge. No, we are not. Hey, welcome back to Total Spotfest for this joyous Christmas edition. It's the same as every week, but we're dressed up like it's Christmas time. So yay. I am JJ Brownlee. That is Jamie Faulkner. With us, we have Austin Reddick, and we are going to be getting into everything going on Dynamite. We got some talk out of WWE, a whole bunch of things. Gentlemen, how are you doing this most festive of podcasts?
I'm doing well. Feeling the holiday spirit, coming up on a long weekend where I don't have to work or do anything at all. So yeah, doing fine and dandy.
It's nice. Now, do you have off this Friday too, or are you?
I do and I don't. I've got to pop in and check a few things throughout the day, but I'm not actually working. So it's a little bit of both, but yeah, I will still be cracking beers and hanging out and then answering the occasional email if it comes up.
There you go. That's the best day of work. And I know, Jamie, you're now on break. Like, I've been on break all week, but you're now on break until the new year. So,
yeah, I am. I'm not doing a damn thing work-related, period, till 2024, and it feels
wonderful. Well, we do want to thank you guys for joining in with us here. Like I said, this is our annual holiday special. We got some Christmas things we're going to get to in just a minute. But quick little side note, Jamie and I went to, it's been a little bit, unfortunately, work schedule, life, things have happened. But we actually went to a live wrestling show over this past weekend. Very enjoyable first time to WrestleMax over in St. Louis, technically Columbia, Illinois. Columbia, Illinois, side note. Great little town. I've been to a lot of those ones. Southern Illinois on the Illinois side of St. Louis. Never been to Columbia. Fantastic little town. It is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the Griswolds where they now reside. It is definitely in Columbia, Illinois. And no, it was a very fun show. So it was a bucket list item for Jamie to see Su Yung live. And boy, did we get there, even though we'll talk about the booking in a second. But Jamie, overall thoughts of WrestleMax?
Matches were good. I thought the crowd was weird. That's probably the best way to put it. I think it was booking wise. I think that's what happened. But I enjoyed every match there. Su Yung was amazing. She was like 3 feet away from my face, so I was really, really happy because we got to the corner of the entrance, so she's like right there. It's like, let's go.
They had our seats like labeled off. Jamie Faulkner and company were on the front row. Yes. They 100% misspelled his name, but that's great.
I like the and company. Like,
well, it's Jamie Faulkner 1 and Jamie Faulkner 2 is what it was. But no, they front row seats. They literally had you like sectioned off. We could have got there 2 minutes before start. You know?
That's always nice when shows do that.
It was pretty cool.
I liked it. Get to meet Sami Callihan in person, which is nice.
Yeah, Sami is cool.
Super cool dude. Got to see our friends of the Premiere, right? Premiere's doing the work, Soup and SK, always good to see them. Shaza, as always, Shaza's great. It was just overall really fun time. Davey Vega doing Davey Vega things, right? It was a very good time. It had some very good matches. The booking was a little weird so they had a double main event, right? Okay, Austin. They had Sue and Shaza for the Undisputed, because at the time Shaza is like a interim champion, right? So they had the Undisputed, official women's title match. And then they had also a triple threat for the tag titles. And it was Mike Outlaw and Camaro Jackson, who I can't remember. It was men. What was their acronym? They went
Grown Men Business.
Grown GMB. Grown Men Business.
Great.
That's a good name. Against GPA and Laney Luck. Against the other guys, which were or the new guys, right?
The new
young
guys.
Tag team based out of St. Louis. And they were actually pretty fun. I really liked their intro. It was a little bit copycat of Orange Cassidy, but hey, everything in wrestling's copying of something, right? But half the crowd was their family. Don't even exaggerate that. And so they were the co-main event, so they were the second to last match. So, the room was hot. It was popping. It was a really enjoyable match, right? But as soon as that match was over, their family all cleared out, and there was half the room left for your main. So,
and the crowd was dead for arguably an amazing match. It was an amazing match between Su Yung and Shaza. Great match. And literally the crowd was dead. Like literally it's us and like 3 dudes sitting by us. Like it's just us guys.
Yeah, and we're trying to carry it. So a little bit of booking thing. Should have swapped those matches so you would have got the full pop. But hey.
Yeah, that's always unfortunate when it's always rad when somebody gets a lot of their friends and family to come because more butts and seats, better crowd. But it's always unfortunate when they leave after that, like immediately after that person wrestles.
Right.
Which is weird too, because I've had friends show up to shows and stuff before, and I'm like, no, come for the whole show. It's gonna be fun. And it's weird to me that people are like, oh, I saw that person. We don't need to stay the other 20 minutes this thing's gonna run or whatever it is. But yeah, stuff like that. And wrestling in front of a crowd that's been deflated like that is always super awkward.
Oh, yes. Yeah. It was
There's no coming back.
It reminded me of a Journey Pro show we saw back Kansas Hall. It was Hoodie Howlett's fake retirement match, right? He had come out the month before, and he is hurt in his knee, this and that, and he wants one more match. He wants against Gary Jay, because Gary Jay is the heart and soul of Midwest wrestling, and blah blah blah, all this stuff, right? So they have this whole thing. They have this dude from Strange Music come lead him out with a rap, into the ring, and they do this whole thing. They put on an amazing match, and then Hoodie puts a big swerve. There's like, F you, there's no way I'm retiring. What the hell you think? So they jump Gary afterwards. There's so much emotion. And then they have the hour-long Jeremy Wyatt championship match after that against Jake something. And man, was the crowd not amped for that match. It was just, what's up, Rob? So
Big Rob.
But I will say, overall, wrestling match was a lot of fun. I think KLD did a great job there. Like I said, little booking adjustments, I would say, but the venue was set up fantastic. So they had the wrestling in a separate area, right? Nice tall, ceiling, big room. A little bit chilly because they didn't have the AC on in a big old metal building, but it was built into this lodge, right? So they had like the big gathering hall room next to it there, where they had on one side they had set up all the booths for and a lot of booths, very good setup for merch, and then they had food set up over kind of behind it with tables set up, an actual dining area where you could sit down and eat and stuff. And then the bar was in the other room when you first came in. One of the better setups I've seen at an indie show in a while.
Yeah, it's always nice when they think of those little details, and it makes it seem like a more professional and well-run event. Yeah. As opposed to what indie wrestling often is, which is just they found a place that will let them put a ring in there, and it's whatever you can find for the cheapest.
Which there is a charm to that too. Let's be real. So, okay, more wrestling coming.
Been to and on a lot of fun shows and situations like that, but still, I'd rather wrestle in a nicer building.
100%. Other independent wrestling news here. Fountain City Pro, our upcoming new promotion here in Kansas City, announced their official date, their official title, and their official first participant. So if you guys want to get out, Fountain City Pro is Friday, March 8th. Okay, tickets go on sale January. I don't have it in front of me. 8th or 8th, I think it is.
Yeah, it's like 2 months in advance.
I think so January 8th.
That sounds about right.
Yep, go on sale. And one Miss Heidi Howitzer is the first confirmed participant of Fountain City Pro.
We know her.
Some of us intimately. By some of us, I mean one of us.
Yeah,
hopefully one of us.
All right.
Yeah, no, excited for Fountain City Pro getting up and running. It's always good to have more promotions run by people that seem like they're really into this and want to do it the right way. Because you run into a lot of promoters that seem like they don't enjoy pro wrestling very much. And
oh yeah,
It never ends up well. But yeah, Fountain City should be phenomenal if you were anywhere near the area on March 8th. You should be at their inaugural show.
And it will be in Olathe, Kansas. We'll have more details coming on that later on. Like I said, Jamie and I in Austin, we know the people who are putting this on here. We're trying to work some stuff up, try to get them on the. When it gets a little closer, we'll get them on the podcast. We'll do a little talky talk with them, But very excited to see Fountain City come in. So it's a Friday evening. So hey, plan accordingly, people.
Austin, maybe we can have you on to interview your wife. Put her on the hot seat.
She is never shy about jumping in front of a camera, so I'm sure she would be down.
Let's have Austin on interviewing her, and she is in full shoot the whole time, right?
Best ever.
All right. Well, it is Christmas. We have a tradition here every year that we like to exchange gifts amongst us hosts. I should have been a little more clear, but Austin has the gift that I sent to him handy. We're going to get to it. Jamie and I have our gifts as well. And this year we went with kind of more of a white elephant theme. So Austin, you already opened yours. Why don't you kind of reveal to the world what it was that you got? Now, you got one coming from Jamie as well.
It is still fully boxed. I certainly didn't open it as soon as it arrived and then realized afterwards I probably should wait.
He unwrapped it and then realized the error of his ways and held off.
But
you messed up the bit.
I did. I totally forgot. I totally forgot the bit, dude. I totally forgot it. That was on.
I didn't know of the bit. Now I do.
I should have been a little more literal,
but yes, I got this very lovely Trapper Keeper.
You're going to grad school. You gotta get your
Spotfest sticker.
Yeah.
Yes. Relevant for going to grad school, and also my personal love of the 1990s.
So I had a couple ideas on the different decisions. I went with that because I felt like the multicolored leopard print was very 90s wrestling inspired.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. No, excellent choice. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Now you have a general and the sticker, stick on a water ball and knock yourself out. So
I've got one of those big dispensers where you put the big blue jugs in it, and we have 80 stickers. Like every time we get a sticker, we just put another one on the dispenser. So it's going 5 feet from where I sit and do this podcast.
There you go. I have no idea what that's like to have to put all your stickers.
All
right, so stickers, Jamie, sorry. I can't remember. I think last year you started.
Sure. Yeah, because I had you open Megan's gift last. I remember that.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, I'll go first. How about that? All right.
Okay.
So Jamie got me this little gift here. I have no idea. It's kind of soft.
Little guy.
Okay. All right. Okay. This is funny on a couple levels. All right. So I have Macho Man Randy Savage socks.
Oh, yeah.
Which are amazing. It's Macho Man. And also, Jamie knows I'm not one of these sock people that like the fancy socks. So the fact that I've got to wear them now, But no, those are actually really cool. That is a very 8-bit Macho Man, too, I must say.
Exactly. Like it checked all the boxes.
If we look at the junk there, that's a lot going on.
A lot of detail went into that. That is fine craftsmanship right there.
They're actually really cool. I do like them. Like I said, to me, socks are socks, but I appreciate it. Let's say we're doing a little
Macho Man socks.
So
completely different.
Macho socks. All right, Jamie.
All right. I'm going to open mine now, ladies and gentlemen. It's an Amazon box, everybody. See? Thanks for the Amazon box. I appreciate it.
You are welcome. Now you can box stuff up. Congratulations.
You taped it too. You would. I have nothing to open that shit with.
It's just Scotch tape. You can just rip it.
Scotch. Somebody say Scotch.
Scotch. I love Scotch.
Mm-hmm. Yum. In my belly. I swear to God.
Are you serious?
I have nails.
Just use the muscles. Just brrr.
I got the poppy things.
All right, so there's 2 little boxes in there, as you see. Don't touch the things, but take them out of the boxes. Okay.
Okay.
There's an order I want you to do these in. Okay. Take the green one out first, and then press the button.
So, which one?
Green. Start with green.
Green.
You gotta take it out of the box first. Okay. And put the back of it up to your mic too, so we all can hear it. So these are like, you know, those buttons you get that are like the hell no button or like the nut, right? You know, the button,
Do you hear it?
Can't hear it.
I can't.
No, it's the boom, boom, boom. Let me hear you say "Wayho girl" from the YouTube videos.
Which is a throwback to an old inside joke that Jamie and I have. Now, this is an even better one here. So,
Well, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here.
Yeah, there's a bunch of like you could put like I didn't put any decals on top. You could put like different sort of like decals on it to have.
Okay, so this one. That's perfect. See,
it is.
You're more
Jamie's
shredded than a Julian salad, man. Original
Robert Downey
bit.
Jr. doing the more shredded than a Julian salad line from Tropic Thunder.
That's an original bit from the OG episodes when we were really bad. Now we're just marginally bad, ladies and gentlemen.
So I was hopeful that you'd be able to press them with the speaker back to the microphone and we'd be able to hear them, but I guess not. So no.
Yeah, it's not coming through.
It's not coming through.
Damn it.
But you hear it. That's important. Those are re-recordable, so if you want to copy over them. But yeah, now you got a quick little access to that whenever you need.
That's great. I'll be pushing those buttons on the regular.
All the time. All right. Well, Merry Christmas, gentlemen.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Okay. Let's talk about wrestling. Let's get into more wrestling. The ears are fantastic, man.
My floppy Grogu ears.
Yes. All right.
Yes, so, Heather said that your socks will punch Hogan in the eye. I don't know if you saw that.
Hey, he's a saved man now. Did y'all see Hulk Hogan got baptized today?
I did, and it's kind of hilarious because he spent his entire babyface run wearing that cross necklace. Like,
right.
I'm pretty sure that's the one that Andre ripped off of his chest to start their whole feud. And he's kind of just admitting that was bullshit the entire time.
Yeah. Oh, finally,
his whole life's to work.
Hey, committed to the bit.
He's committed to something. I don't know.
He's committed to a lot of things. Well, congratulations on finding eternal salvation, I guess. Hulk Hogan, whatever.
Yes.
There's some other news coming out of the Fed, though, we should probably talk about.
Okay.
So, first one I heard was probably the biggest thing. Now, of course, there are some updates I think we talked about last week, some different updates with injuries, right? It ties into this. One of them being Charlotte Flair out for 9 months at least-ish. Like, apparently it's really bad. Her leg, like, really bad. So, in a fitting kind of tie-in to that, more light has come out on the Mercedes Moné Sasha Banks situation, where reports are that the figure she's asking is more than Charlotte Flair got. She wants to be the highest paid woman in wrestling, basically, which deservedly so, in my opinion. But with her being out, that might give her a little bit more leeway to get that, because it does sound, at least from the report that SRS was saying, that figure was a little bit prohibitive to WWE, is what the indication was. So, what are your thoughts on the money she's asking? Is she worth it? And does this mean that she's going to be going to AEW because of this number, or getting a whole lot of money from Stores, Connecticut? What do you think, guys?
I think off the bat, good for her. Ask for what you want and what you think you're worth. Now, they might end up saying no, and you might have to settle for something less, but you got to swing for the fences when you got the opportunity. I think I just saw it reported today that Charlotte just signed an extension, making her like the highest paid woman in the history of the company or something along those lines. I try not to focus too much on other people's money and what they're asking for and all that. But I could definitely see with Charlotte being out an extremely long period of time, that giving them more motivation to bring Sasha Banks back. That seems like the likeliest situation for her. But at this point, like I would just like to see her end up somewhere because she can wrestle if she ends up somewhere instead of just not being ever on TV.
So her not wrestling anywhere.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense for her to go back to WWE, especially if it's a high number, because I mean they got the money. I mean, it's not saying Khan doesn't have the money, because Tony definitely has the money.
Tony has the money,
but they lost a big piece in Charlotte. WWE did. Now they do have a lot of other big pieces women wise, but you know, she was gonna be a part of a big feud moving forward, and that's gone now. And then like there's only so many times you can run Becky and Rhea back so many times, or you know, whoever the other champion is. Like, you know, there's only so many times you can run those things back, and it makes more sense for her to go there at this point. I don't see AEW paying her the money, because I mean, as much as we do love Sasha Banks, you know, Mercedes Moné, I don't think she's gonna move the needle as much as her dollar value is in viewership. You know, like I think what they're running right around 900,000 every time, pretty much consistently right around there
in the nines.
You know, I don't see her getting them over 1 million. I don't. I mean, maybe an additional 50,000 viewers, that'd be sweet, but I don't see it. I'd rather them take that money and invest in MJF.
My thought on this is kind of like my concern from before, is that if you pay her the money, but you're not going to give her the time, or maybe you're going to give just her the time, it doesn't really do any good in the end, right? You know, it'll be hot bump for a quick minute. Cool, right? But again, to your point, you're not moving the needle. I think it makes more sense in WWE. And I think at the end of the day, she'll get that figure one way or the other. I think WWE with Charlotte being out, it's like, well, we need to have this, you know? And I think that Tony Khan would very much be the, oh, you don't think I can pay that? Watch me, you know?
Yeah, but then she's wasted.
Let's be honest, right? So I think it'd make more sense for her to be in WWE just at the end of the day. Now, it seems like there's a lot of talk going on about contract negotiations that aren't official at all. So this all could just be a big smokescreen anyway.
Yeah, I think if AEW wants her, like the money's there. They could pay her if they want her. But I don't think now is a good time for AEW to bring her in, because if you're going to pay her that and bring her in, she's got to be the feature of your women's division. But Toni Storm is doing some of the best work in any women's division anywhere in recent memory right now. And I don't think you want to overshadow that, even if it is bringing in a big name. Because that's the other thing, too. The initial time she shows up, people will be super excited, really good pop. But once you get a few weeks in, I don't think she'd be any more over than Toni Storm is right now. Toni Storm is out there just doing some of the best work in all of pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I mean, case in point to that, on Saturday's Collision, I mean, Abaddon getting a nice push right now. We got to also give her some props. But Thunder Rosa came out, and Thunder Rosa's back, teaming with Abaddon. And honestly, the crowd was more stunned than excited. You know, like, I don't know, the crowd reaction was a little bit lackluster, if you ask me. And like, she's one of your top peeps. Like, if you bring in Mercedes, that could overshadow them. And when Jamie gets back, and definitely what Tony's doing, to your point, man, like I just it's the right person at the wrong time, maybe.
Yeah,
I think that's a good point.
I agree completely. I feel like they've, even though they're not giving as much attention, I mean, they had 2 women's matches on Collision. They had finally the team up, the reveal of Sky Blue joining Julia Hart.
Finally.
Thunder Rosa's returning, right? You know, you're doing things and laying the groundwork there. In reality, you're still developing this women's division out, right? Because you don't give it a lot of time, so it takes a lot longer to build multiple storylines and make stuff work. And I think putting Mercedes in there, if you're not ready to go, it's a little premature, right? Maybe in 6 months when they get some more stuff sorted out. There's a streaming deal and they have the whole thing, right? Okay, cool. I could see it, you know? But she'd basically be at the same level that Saraya's at right now, you know? Big pop when you come in, you feature for a little bit, and then you're kind of just there, right?
Yeah, although I think at least Mercedes Monet is much more capable than Saraya is in the year 2023 going into 2024. I think part of Saraya fizzling out is the performance part of it just wasn't where it used to be with her. And you kind of just couldn't keep pushing her when you have just more talented women around her in the division right now.
Agree. All right, anything else in the Fed you want to get over, Jamie?
The only thing Fed related, I guess, is more Fed adjacent. A lot of superstars became free agents today or tomorrow, officially. Tomorrow.
Around right
officially. So just to name a few or all of them. You have Nick Nemeth. So Dolph Ziggler, Top Dollar, Shanky, Matt Riddle, Riddick Moss, which he had a great thing on Instagram with him and Tennille Dashwood.
Oh yeah,
where they did the Braveheart Freedom thing, which was great. Mansoor, Mace, Quincy Elliott, Elias, Daba Kato, Dana Brooke, Rick Boogs, Shelton Benjamin, Aaliyah, and Mustafa Ali. So I pose this question to you, gentlemen. Do you see any of them making an appearance on World's End? I don't see any of them debuting before that.
I would say probably not.
I don't. Yeah.
Just because I think we're getting the devil reveal. I hope we're getting the devil reveal at World's End.
Better be getting devil reveal.
And I think you don't want more than one of those big moments on a pay-per-view like that. This is like the first time they're doing this pay-per-view. Like, it's an event, it's a big deal, but I think if you have a big debut and that kind of a storyline, like reveal mystery thing on the same show, one's going to step on the other. Whereas you reveal the devil at World's End and you could the very next week on Dynamite have whoever's going to debut come out and start something fresh. That's the other thing too. Like, I think the first show after pay-per-view is a good time to introduce somebody.
I agree.
I agree.
And it works sometimes. Sometimes you bring them in and just to show them off to the crowd, like, hey, they just signed, they're here. Something like that would be fine. But again, it's just going to get overshadowed if you've got something as big as a storyline you spent 4 months telling, getting paid off at the end of the night.
Well, and my take on that is very similar lines, is that I feel like, and call us a hot take if you want, but I wouldn't classify anybody on that list as being a big reveal, right? Dolph Ziggler may be the biggest name on there, right? But at this point in his career, is he like the showstopper, oh my God, look who's here sort of person? I don't think so. Well, I agree. And I love Dolph, and it'd be great to see him, but I don't know. I just don't.
I think he is going to Impact.
Really?
That's where I hope he lands too, because I would like to see him get that old vet who was unappreciated run kind of at the top, and Impact is the place for that.
I don't feel like a lot of the people on this list, I don't feel like any of them, if not very few, I don't think they're going to show up in AEW right now, honestly.
I think Mustafa Ali is probably the most likely. And I think he's a solid addition to the AEW roster. I would love to see Shelton get like a Ring of Honor run.
Same.
Just let him go out there and just go. And then bring him into Dynamite every once in a while, just for random one-offs. Kind of like they did with Jay Lethal early on. Now, he got into some stories and stuff, but I would love to see Shelton with a Ring of Honor run and just him getting some chance to go out there and tear it down with some of the best wrestlers in the world.
I agree. And I feel like a lot of these people are going to be destined for TNA. TNA has already announced that for their Hard to Kill pay-per-view on the 13th, January 13th. First of all, Women's Ultimate X, second ever. Let's go. But there's going to be a massive announcement of new talent acquisition. There's been a lot of reports out there about money being earmarked and flagged and put aside and moved around for talent acquisition in 2024. TNA has been kind of putting that out there that, hey, so I feel like a good number of these people are probably going to show up in TNA. I think Nemeth is definitely one that I agree. I like that. I believe Tanil and Riddick, both of them definitely fit into TNA. I think Aaliyah would do well in TNA with the way that they run their women's division. I think she's a good fit. I feel like Dana Brooke's going to go back non-wrestling. I think she's going to go back to fitness stuff, personally.
I would love to see Dana Brooke get an AEW run. The AEW crowd they really like to sometimes ironically get behind people. And Dana Brooke got over with the internet crowd, just kind of like that. Oh, you're not great, but we just kind of like you for it anyway. I think she could low key have a fun little run in AEW. You're not putting a title on her or anything, but there's some entertainment there.
I hear you, but I don't feel like anybody here. If anybody does get announced at World's End, Jamie, it'll be if they have one of those mid-card battle royal sort of things going on, and somebody comes out. Here comes Mustafa, or here comes
So my big one here is Matt Riddle. Does everybody stay away from him?
Yes.
Yeah,
I would.
I mean, there's rumors about Marty Scurll.
I know. Last heard about Riddle is that there's possibility for him to go back to the UFC, right? Potentially. I don't know.
Well, he's going back to MMA. He is not going to the UFC. Dana White hates Matt Riddle, and also UFC is owned by the same company that owns WWE, who would not hire him to the other, which is kind of funny considering some of the people on the UFC roster are legitimately criminals. There's plenty of them that are just fine, upstanding people that just happen to kick ass for a living. But I think we mentioned it a few weeks back on this show. Dana White literally slapped his wife on camera in full view of the public, and nothing happened about it. But even that being said, there's no way they're bringing Matt Riddle back. But there's other MMA out there, and there's a lot of smaller promotions that would definitely throw a lot of money to get him to fight on the show.
I mean, we'll see what happens. It's I don't think that right now AEW is going to take any big swings on them. I think it might get some mid swings, though. I think it might get some people that kind of, like I said, Shelton Benjamin doing an ROH thing. I can see that, right?
I also think with Riddle, what else is there to see with Matt Riddle? He's we've seen him wrestle plenty. He's kind of cool, but his character's never changed. There's no depth or layers to him. And he has some fun matches. He does some cool stuff, but nothing so just out of this world, innovative and outstanding that you have to see it. I don't see him being worth the hassle anywhere.
Yeah.
He's probably going to go do porn if we're being honest. I think he legitimately was talking about that a while back. Was getting into doing porn. That's probably where Matt Riddle's going.
Well, good for him, dude.
Man, there's money out there and flashing your D around. So,
I mean, that's where his girlfriend's from, right?
Yep.
His previous 3 girlfriends, and the one that,
Oh, there's a whole bunch in there with it.
Moving right along.
Let's move swiftly along. We've eked out Heather here on this. Okay, so let's mix it up. All right. Well, more to come. We'll have updates, as I'm sure, in the next couple of weeks here. Again, I believe a lot of these are going to be coming in TNA, but hey, you never know. Good news is a lot of these people you probably be able to see on some independent things. I know GCW's already, said Top Dollars making his return, next month to their promotion, and a few others out there. So good stuff.
Yeah, Mason Mansoor doing a Big Gay Brunch, and they're also doing our Mace is going back to Reality Wrestling as well in the next month or two.
Oh, okay, there you go. By the way, GCW released their card for their December event. Your main event is Blake Christian. I don't know if he's defending the title or not, but he has a match against Santa.
I love a good Santa match.
There are a few things in pro wrestling I enjoy more than Santa getting involved. Mm-hmm. And coming off the heels of talking about the Fed a bit, they are the number one name in getting Santa involved in some pro wrestling. And I figured this week I would do a not just a stash of knowledge, a Santa's sack of knowledge this week.
Ooh.
And talk about some
that ahead of time. I would have made.
I wish I would have thought of that before just now, but we got to roll with what we got. So yeah, I think I would get in the Christmas spirit a little bit and chat about one of the greatest traditions in pro wrestling.
Let's do it. And Let's get our stash on. Come on.
I did some thorough research this weekend, watching through as many Christmas pro wrestling things as I could. And it is overwhelmingly from the WWF/WWE, even going as far back to the 80s with Roddy Piper's Christmas Carol parody, which if you have not seen this, it's on the Peacock. Go back and watch it.
Worth a view.
It's just entertaining. And this is overall the reason why, even as someone that's not a Christmas person, I love Christmas in pro wrestling, because I love things in pro wrestling that are just there to be fun. They're silly, they don't mean anything, and they don't get taken seriously, but everyone enjoys it. And in a minute, I will get to some legitimate Christmas magic that I saw watching this.
Okay.
But Roddy Piper, A Christmas Carol, if you have not seen it before, he is awoken from his bed by three ghosts explaining the error of his ways. But my favorite part of the entire segment is, for some reason, he is sleeping in bed in his wrestling boots. Like, Roddy Piper is ready to get up and kick ass at any moment in the evening.
I mean, that checks for Roddy Piper. Let's be real.
It absolutely does. It absolutely does. So if you have not seen that, go back and watch that. One I came across that is not WWF/E related. You can find this on YouTube, but is the Christmas Creature from USWA in the early 90s, which is a very large man who would go on to become the mayor of a small town in Tennessee, and also a demon along the way, in a green outfit, like Green Man from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You've seen it, but adorned with tinsel and ornaments. And I think he's got some red shorts and a Santa hat on. And the whole gimmick is he's brought out to beat some Christmas spirit into some ungrateful folk. And he spends a little while just squashing jobbers.
Oh, my God.
It is Kane dressed like the Grinch, more or less, but more spandex. So do yourself a favor and check that out at some point.
Fantastic.
But to get into Santa proper, which is my favorite running gimmick in pro wrestling, Santa is going to show up every year around Christmas. And more often than not, it's kind of the same setup. He comes out to talk to a heel, and he either is a babyface in disguise, or he is backed up by a babyface that comes out to beat up the heel. But there was one year within the last decade or so, I forget the exact year, where Santa actually got run over by Alberto Del Rio.
I remember that.
That was a great one as well. It leads to John Cena and Alberto Del Rio in the main, where Santa makes his triumphant return to come help John Cena out secure the victory. It's every Santa in wrestling is just a nice little baby face goes over at the end. Everyone's happy, except for one, really. And this was in the Attitude Era. This was one of those moments where you really realize WWF was not for the kids anymore. And that was Stone Cold Steve Austin giving Santa the stunner to thunderous applause from everyone in the arena.
Oh, those were the days, man. Those were the
my
days.
God.
And a bit of an honorable mention, but not as cool of a moment, was from one of the first, it might have been the first, but one of the first few tribute to the troops, where Vince McMahon was complaining to Santa that he didn't get presents because he was always bad, only to blindside Santa from behind and start talking to the crowd, while Santa got to his feet, took off his hat, and revealed himself to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. Hiding Stone Cold Steve Austin Santa will always work. You could run that out every year. Yes. But Santa stunners are just always a good time. Although, my absolute favorite of everything I saw, and as I said a few minutes ago, I was going to divulge a genuine moment of Christmas magic. Wrestling, like Santa, is about the suspension of disbelief and just going along with it and getting into the spirit. There is a good Santa versus bad Santa match from Raw some years back where the good Santa is one Mark Henry and the bad Santa is one Damian Sandow.
Oh my God.
And it is the Miracle on 34th Street fight that they tried out every few years, which I love a good Christmas pun for the violence.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But there's a moment in this match where Mark Henry reveals a gift. He takes off the box, and it is a whole ass toilet just sitting in the corner of the ring. This toilet is clearly not hooked up to any plumbing because it is sitting in the ring. I have assembled a wrestling ring. There is not elaborate pipes underneath. Not only that, this toilet is pristine white and brand new. They clearly went to Home Depot and or Lowe's, whichever you prefer, picked up a toilet and used it for this spot. All those things being considered, the moment Mark Henry grabs Sandow's head and starts taking him over there, the entire crowd is just getting ready for it. Mark Henry shoves Sandow's face into this toilet that has clearly never been used, is not hooked up to anything. Sandow starts selling it like crazy, and every single person in that arena, in a genuine moment of Christmas magic, was believing that Sandow was having the worst time of his life right there. That is the magic of Christmas and pro wrestling.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
You know, also during the Christmas time, they always did the on a pole matches, which is JJ's favorite gimmick.
Oh,
like,
God.
yeah, the mistletoe on the pole for the Divas match. You had a present on the pole match, which was Dolph Ziggler versus somebody.
Fandango. I watched that one today.
Fandango. Yeah. And then, of course, like you said, the Miracle on 34th Street fight. The best name ever for a gimmick match.
It's great,
it's perfect. You always get a tree being used as a weapon, and it just, yeah.
Yeah, none of it is violent at all, but it's just fun. And everyone gets into it. They'll have the tray of cookies where they'll eat a cookie and then hit the guy with the tray.
Yep. Packages, being broken over their heads. So you had a package on the head. And then...
But they couldn't do that in AEW because then Mox would end up bumping on broken ornaments and it would just be a legitimate Christmas death match. I'd be interested to see that, but I don't think they could go that far.
That would be great. A Christmas death match with broken ornaments everywhere.
A barbed wire tree.
Barbed wire tree.
The barbed wire itself is like wrapped in tinsel, so it's all sparkly.
Oh, Jesus. Don't give Mox any more ideas, okay? Well, thank you for taking us down the Ghost of Wrestling Christmas Past. That is wonderful stuff. Santa and stupid street fights. Fantastic.
And the Christmas creature.
And the Christmas
creature. We gotta check that out, Jamie. That's on the
list. It is ridiculous.
Everyone.
All right, let's get back because there's some non-Christmas theme wrestling we want to get to. Let's talk about Dynamite from tonight. All right.
Yeah, can we?
Let's do it.
Talk about Tony Khan giving us a present.
It was gift after gift after gift, and if you deserved coal in your stocking, you got to watch Saraya wrestle for like 6 minutes.
She actually didn't do too bad.
Not too bad is not good enough for national TV.
You want to start with that? You want to start with the women's match?
Do we want to jump right into that?
Let's do it.
This to me looks like the fabled, I know I've got to put someone over, so I'm just going to mail it in kind of performance from Saraya. It was fine, but no reason to be interested in it.
Yeah.
To me, I don't get the booking. You've already done the story. You did the story last week, right? She beat Ruby Soho. Hey, Ruby. In a solid match, right? And it's obvious she's going after Toni Storm thing. They're selling this whole thing. First champion, current champion. First champion, current champion. Why did you have to have this? You didn't need, this was not needed. You could have had something else. This could have been a promo you did where, she was awarded the match and her and Toni get into it in the backstage. Cool, right? You could have had something else featured on TV. I just don't understand what the purpose of this was. It wasn't Saraya's worst match in AEW, but that's not a higher bar. We've talked about ad nauseum Saraya as a wrestler in 2023, and a good chunk of that is due to the fact that she broke her neck in like 18,000 places, and she, taking bumps is probably not a good idea. Period. But this was our women's match for the night. At least we had Toni Storm on commentary for the whole thing, and
that was a gift in its own right.
So, in the honor of the Christmas spirit, the holiday spirit, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to look at this through a glass half full. This had long-term storytelling for one Miss Toni Storm, because Toni and the Outcasts, they really tried to build it up. They're the ones who beat Rio out the first time, and now she's coming back, collecting her receipts from each person of the Outcasts, so they really made her look pretty strong in this match. I thought they did a good job on that aspect. Saraya is not who she used to be. We all know that, and that's okay. That is okay. Because that match did its purpose. Not only did it make Rio look strong to make her look as a possibility of getting it, it also planted that seed of Mariah May doing the Mickie James. That's all I gotta say about that. I think it was wonderful.
I think the post match and all the side stuff I liked more than the match itself. They're definitely making Ruby face of some sort, right? Because Ruby they showed her behind the stage side eyeing the TV. I just don't get the side eye TV thing. I mean, ever since the Young Bucks shot on that's all I can see anymore. People like side eye anyway. But she smirked when Saraya lost, so they're obviously making her face. They're doing a long turn for that. Cool, that's something for them to do. I like it. Right? Take them out of the picture, but give them a story so that at least they're involved in something. Toni was fantastic on commentary, talking to, of course, the king of duplexes over there. You hit the nail on the head, Austin. There's no better woman out there right now in wrestling than Toni Storm. What she's doing is fantastic. But the Mariah May, the whole Mickie James thing, right? This is from the playbook here. Comes out, makes the save, much to the shock and chagrin of, Toni. So I love it.
Yeah. And I think you didn't need to do Riho and Saraya here. I think you could have done something more in line of building up Toni and Mariah May's thing. Like you could have done Toni and Mariah against Saraya and Ruby here. Giving Rio, I get the long-term storytelling part of it, but a lot of people have already forgot that the Outcasts took them out. And also, Rio is not winning this match. The conclusion already. So instead of building, you don't have to do too much building with Rio. One, she's Rio, and everyone except for neckbeards on the internet loves her anyway. And she's a former champion. You can slide her right into that title match of the pay-per-view without having to do a lot of justifying, because that's how pro wrestling works sometimes. Where I think you could have done something that developed Toni and Mariah a little bit more substantially, and not had Saraya working a singles match on Dynamite. The finish was probably the worst part of it. It was real awkward. They had to like reposition and stuff. And like I said, it wasn't bad. It's just we've had a really good couple of weeks run of the women's division, and it was a bit of a downer to have a match that didn't really mean much. You knew Riho was winning this one and getting the shot at the pay-per-view because they've already planted those seeds. She beat Ruby last week. You didn't need her to beat someone else again here. And then with Ruby and Saraya, they either need to stick with that or get away from it because it seems like they just drop it for a while and then kind of pick it up. And it's like Saraya's just not there a lot of the time. It just seems like it's muddying up a division that's finally finding its feet under itself.
When you have one match a week, yeah, that's exactly the point, right? You know, you make that match at least like you've been doing the past few weeks. It's been good stuff. And it hasn't all been this exact same storyline. You've done some stuff with Julia, right? You've done some other things. Cool, right? You don't get any room for having a bad, sloppy match because then this conversation ensues.
That's fair.
But it's not official. Riho and Tony at World's End, so...
Yeah. All right. So we'll get into the Coastal Carolina Classic, Continental Breakfast, whatever. We'll get into those last. So that means we get one of JJ's favorite wrestlers, Commander, going up against Next Strong, Roderick Strong.
If you haven't watched Commander in the six-man match that they had on Friday last night, go watch it. It was Commander, Penta, and
I think Vikingo.
No. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was him because he wrestled on the Ring of Honor pay-per-view, but that
right.
Vikingo
going up against Top Flight and Austin Reddick's favorite wrestler, Action Andretti, and if you like flippy spinny shit like JJ does, this match is your holiday wet dream. It was amazing. But anyway, yes. Roddy versus Commander. I thought it was a fine match. It was a fill-in match. It was a good stand-up match. It was meant to kind of move along the storyline of Roddy, which they did well. It was fine.
How about that finish? That was sick. I gotta give it to them. That was a sick finish.
When Roddy's on his best, he pulls out some moves. He does a lot of this. Like Austin, you remember that? I think you talked about this from like old good Roddy from ROH, right? He would pull this. He would pull the end of Hart out of nowhere, right? Just boom.
Yeah.
You know. Kudos, Roddy.
Yeah. This was a fun match. It was a little bit of filler for the show. I mean, it still got Roddy's gimmick moving along and all that. It's weird though. It's one of those matches that it was announced. I saw the graphic. I was like, that'll probably be cool, but I don't know why these two specifically are wrestling. Which sometimes on a pro wrestling show, matches happen because you have pro wrestlers and they're going to wrestle. I would have liked to see Roddy, if you are investing that TV time into him, which they have been, and it's the most interested I've ever been in Roderick Strong. He's always been a great wrestler, just never did anything for me. I would have liked to see him beat someone with a little bit more clout. Not a top of the card guy, but Commander is one of those ones that you just assume he's going to lose anyway. I would like to see Roddy beat someone where there was that little bit of doubt whether or not he would win. But either way, the match was phenomenal.
Penta, if you did Penta instead of Commander.
Penta would be a great one because Penta's one of those guys that like he could beat or lose to anybody on any night with the way they book him, and it always works. I would have loved to see Roddy and Penta. But I mean, yeah, the match was great either way.
What'd you feel about this match, Jamie?
I loved it. You know, again, glass half full. It's the Christmas spirit in me. Because if this was last week, I'd be bashing on Commander in some way, shape, or form because it takes forever to set up moves. But he definitely did not do that this time. He was much faster in setting up his moves. Instead of going out to the middle of the ropes, taking like 3 deep breaths, then finally going. Like you didn't have to worry about that. He just went after it and got it. Did anybody else's TBS like kind of short out when he did the
It did.
like
I had a
backwards
couple
450
times tonight where
thing?
my TBS
Yeah,
feed
mine
was a
did
little
that
wonky.
for like the first probably third of the show. It was happening
Yeah.
here and there.
Yeah, I had
Like
weird.
he
feed
started to do it.
changes.
Next thing you know, it's like boom.
He's on. They're doing a
It's
pinfall
like,
in the
I
middle.
didn't see
Yeah,
him do the move.
It did that for a little while during Jericho's backstage segment, and I wish it would have been longer.
Well, Roddy gets the victory, and then him and the Kingdom are putting up MJF is the devil signs around the thing. He has a good little promo with Renee. He's the most interesting Roddy's been on his own, right? I know he's got the Kingdom behind him. I get it, right? He's obviously involved with, the whole storyline. We know that, right?
Yeah.
But for what it's worth, he's leading this. He's on his own. It's the most interesting he's been, because in the past, Austin's made mention about this many a times, right? He has not been pleasant to listen or watch when he's not in the middle of a wrestling match. I enjoy at least some sort of thing. And taking this gimmick and running with it, it's an old gimmick, but I appreciate it, right? The old, my neck still hurt sort of bit, right? Milking that whole thing. He's getting good pop from the crowd, and I liked it. So, yeah. Yeah, good. It was good filler. It was, like I said, you're not going to have everything. You need to have this when you have like so many good matches. You need to have that in the middle, or else something gets lost. Kind of like we talked about at the beginning, where at WrestleMax, where you take the air out of the building, right? This is proper booking. You're putting that in there, so it's a little bit of a breather. It's important. It's good, but it's not super important.
Yeah. Well said. So let's get into MJF Samoa Joe, because I feel like that has a lot of pieces here. Then we'll get into the coastal Carolina stuff. So MJF Samoa Joe comes out to a King's Welcome because he is Samoa Joe. And they can never make this man heel ever again because he's just Joe.
Joe is a static figure. There's no face, there's no heel, there's just Joe.
Yeah, he's Dr. Manhattan. But he comes out, starts accusing MJF of being the devil because he's starting to buy into it, calls out MJF. Samoa Joey is the response from MJF, and those two start getting into it, and then magically they get attacked by some goons. Some random goons.
All the goons. There was like 25 of them out there.
Then they got surrounded by the actual devil worshippers, I guess is what we're gonna call them. I don't know what we're calling them yet. Other than, I don't know, Jungle Kids or what's another one? The Undisputed Kids. I don't know. It's one of those. So they surround it, lights go out, and it's like, who can you trust? You need to accept our match, whatever. And Samoa Joe's like, damn right, we're gonna do it. Even though like there was a heated moment between MJF and Samoa Joe, MJF's like, oh, well, I don't know if you trust me. He just grabbed out, like, we're gonna do this shit. Like, yeah, I'm in. They're dropping the belts, right?
ROH take title match next week against the Kingdom. Yes.
Oh yeah, they're dropping them hard. Calling it
Austin,
now.
you in on the Kingdom, or you think it might be somebody else?
Doesn't matter. They're dropping them.
Well, I feel like they're dropping them. Yes, but
Kingdom.
Does it matter who it is?
No.
Yeah, I think the Kingdom makes the most sense. It's weird though, because like if the Kingdom are the ones picked by the devil to win the title, that kind of steps on you revealing at the pay-per-view. Although I'm starting to think this might end up being something where the devil is not one person. It is literally everybody that hates MJF. Either that or what I think I would like even more than that. And I feel like every week, and this is a credit to them making this story interested, every week I'm like, oh, this person should be the devil. The next week it's someone else.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing them go all in, put the title on Joe, and Joe's been running the show. He doesn't have to be the actual guy in the mask. Joe is the boss. And I think I mentioned that a few weeks ago that might be all right.
I like that. Yeah.
Joe is real quick to accept that thing, even though last time this exact same thing happened. MJF got beat up and hit with the bottle backstage. But this also makes sense. If this was just a long storyline of Joe fucking with MJF to eventually take the title off of him. There's options though. But yeah, either way, I thought the devil typing on the Tron is getting a little too overproduced and is getting a little hokey. But the storyline still, it's good as long as it ends soon. Like,
well, hopefully we only have 10 days left of this, because they better damn well announce who the devil is at World's End. It has to be. It's time, right? I like the Joe theory. The Jungle Boy theory, I know a lot of people are shitting on, but I do like that. That's a good theory to have there, right? You know, especially with the glass being spewing about. One I talked to Jamie about when we were driving to St. Louis this weekend, something that came up, something that I really liked is, what if it is MJF after all? And hear me out. This is the theory, at least. You know, hear the theory out. The goons are Wardlow, Sean Spears, and maybe FTR, but if not FTR, the Kingdom. Okay? And it's a way to, A, have the MJF kind of reveal, right? He's the devil. He's been doing this all along. Screw you guys, right? And it's really, you know, I never trusted you. You know, you're turning him full heel again. But it also turns the Kingdom on Roddy. You know, that we never bought into your bullshit, you know, this and that. But it allows you to then have, you know, Pinnacle 2.0 versus Adam Cole, Roddy, a returning Kyle O'Reilly, and I don't know, Samoa Joe, who just got screwed out of the title. It's another. There's a million ways this can go. I still feel like it's got to be some sort of Adam Cole related reveal.
That ultimately makes the most sense. Like, why wouldn't it have something to do with Adam Cole? But I think it all just comes down to when you think you're getting Adam Cole back.
Yeah, I mean he was on Twitch streaming an hour before Dynamite tonight. So that's not signifying a man who's getting ready to come back in any capacity.
Well, I mean, that doesn't mean anything. That
could be a swerve. Yeah, that could just all be a thing.
It's a Wednesday night. I mean, like, he doesn't have a day job.
Right. He's not traveling for work, though. He's not at wrestling. So
he doesn't have to right now. They didn't need him this week. He's healing.
Oh, I hear you.
Like,
I'm just saying. I still feel like his injury is a lot more serious than we originally thought, or at least it's more real than what we actually thought.
It could be that, but it also could be we're getting close to the reveal at World's End. It's going to be Adam Cole. Let's keep him off TV for a while and start pointing to other people as the devil to make it a little bit more of a surprise when we circle back to the thing everyone originally thought it was going to be.
I think that's the best way to handle it. Jamie, where are you at here? I know you were big on the Jungle Boy kick last week.
Yeah, and I still think that's a good play, but I think the right play is Adam Cole. It has to be that. Mm-hmm. It just makes the most sense. And honestly, with everything contractually going on with one MJF, like, they have to reveal it now, and he has to drop the title now. He has not re-signed. He has been very vocal about not re-signing recently. After getting inducted into the Jewish Hall of Fame. Congratulations. So I am of the ilk, no matter what, he's dropping that belt to Joe. And then they will hopefully do the reveal in some way, shape, or form that he is like one or many people are the devil, and then like, oh, you think this person's the devil. Like, they do that kind of reveal and actually ends up being that's like a henchman for the actual devil to buy them time. Or it could also allow MJF to get really beat up really bad by the goons of the devil, and he's off TV for a while to heal up, and then that will also buy them time.
I feel like no matter what, because if you're tying that into it, the contract thing, even though it's very much real as it does appear to be, although I still am of the ilk that he did. I feel like something's in the mix, or he has re-signed, or it's whatever. That's just my opinion. But whatever it may be, right? I feel like not roping that into this story in one way or another would be a giant mistake, right? So you've got to rope it in, right?
Yep.
It's the perfect time. End of the year is when his contract expires, right? That's when you beat him up, you take his title, and you leave him for dead with the thought that he's gone, we got rid of him. And then he comes back at Revolution after he signed a new title and had a little bit of time off to rest and recover. And he's the biggest babyface that the company's ever seen. Legit babyface at that point.
Yeah, I think regardless of contract status, it's time to take the belt off MJF either way.
Yeah.
The back half of his run was much better than the first half, but it's time to move on to something else. You have too much talent on the roster for one person to hold the title too much longer than he has. It's time to move into some new and exciting things. And if they don't reveal the devil at World's End, they are screwing up.
We riot.
We rage on them.
Yeah.
There was a little segment later on where him and Joe were talking, getting into it backstage a little bit, and then, MJF turns to walk away and sees there's a mask in front of the Mogul Embassy's door, which leads to a very nice little. Now, this is something that you brought up a long time ago. I think, Austin, did you bring this one up, the Swerve, or was that you, Jamie?
I brought Swerve.
Yeah,
you brought that up. Yeah, a while ago. Then it's kind of hit by the wayside, but plant that seed there, and you have a little face-off between Swerve and MJF, and you realize how much money this is going to be when they get around to doing that, because that is going to be so good. So good. Oh.
Yeah, and it's weird. Swerve has been on such a run that, 4 to 6 weeks ago, whatever it was, that I thought I'd like to see Swerve be the devil just to put him in that title picture. I thought, and even in this little segment right here tonight, Swerve doesn't need to be the devil.
No.
Swerve handled that accusation and promo like the kind of man that would just look you in the eye then hit you. Granted, this is the guy that left Nick Wayne in a pool of blood 5 months ago by attacking from behind. But I think Swerve in the last 6 weeks or so has just blown up so much that he doesn't need to be the devil. Like, he seems kind of above and beyond that. And
right.
It was great having this interaction backstage. I thought Swerve not only held his own, but kind of overshadowed MJF in the promo a bit. MJF was kind of reverting to his heel, the cheap shots that are a little childish and only work if you've got another person that's going to sell him and get really upset by him. And Swerve just looked like the guy we've been expecting him to be after seeing him for the last couple months. He looked like he's ready to be the champ. And hopefully that happens sooner rather than later.
If he doesn't have a belt, he doesn't have that belt on him by summer, something's not right in the world.
So I completely agree about the promo off, if you will. Swerve has been getting so good on the mic and everything, and I felt like he eviscerated MJF. He just you get tryouts, I get contracts, which I thought was a nice little stab right now because he's getting ready to go for a contract. But those two, the fireworks that will come from that match. But the thing is, I think when those two finally collide, it's not going to be MJF with a belt on. It's going to be Swerve with the belt.
Which I'm
and I've been thinking too, just recently, what if the devil was Will Ospreay?
I had that thought a week or two ago, but didn't really follow up on it or flesh it out. That would be super interesting.
That would be interesting.
But
Maybe Ospreay and
but
Ospreay's.
MJF's never really done anything to him. That's the only problem I have.
Yeah, it would be a little out of left field, but Osprey's such a big name. I mean, you know he's coming in the next month or so anyway, but
Yeah.
Osprey's such a big name that it doesn't really matter. That's a little bit out of left field. And he showed up at Full Gear and said, hey, give me some time to finish up Japan, but I'm coming. You could totally flesh that out. Just because he's not showing up until mid-January doesn't mean he doesn't have shit popping off on the show. Could be Osprey. I don't think you need it though.
No, I don't either. I was just trying to.
I feel like, because you can start pulling out a bunch of names. You can get into it. I think that the most likely suspects are going to be
Rosa Bar.
It's going to be it's going to be Adam Cole, some variation thereof, right? Somehow affiliate with Cole, O'Reilly, somewhere in the mix there, right? The person behind the devil mask, but it's going to be Cole, right? Cole. I don't mind the Samoa Joe angle. I think that's a good kind of take on it. Okay, if you want to take a swerve, that's not a bad one, right? If he wins the title, he does that. Cool, I get it. I think that the other really likely one is MJF, right? That if there's not going to be Cole, who's it going to be, right? Yeah, you've got the whole Jungle Boy theory. It's not terrible, but I feel like if it's not Cole or whatever, MJF's really the only backup that I could see that would make sense to me.
Yeah, unless
it has to be
great
Cole.
name, cool. Undisputed Kingdom. That's a great name.
That's a good one, Sandman. All right.
I still would like to see the devil literally being everybody that hates MJF. They're all in on it.
It doesn't even matter. It's just everybody.
And well, especially with the contract thing coming up, you could use that as a thing that, like you were saying, to take him off TV for a while. Dude gets confronted by everyone he's wronged over the last, year or so, and then just leaves. He loses the title, realize everyone hates him, and he disappears, and then comes back. Like, if you really want to become a babyface, then have him come back as a true babyface.
Right.
Like, yeah, I almost signed with the other company. I almost took my ball and went home. Clearly none of you want me, but you know what? I'm not quitting. And then you get like a redemption arc with them. I think that's good long-term storytelling.
Then you get the chase too. The chase is what everybody loves too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that chase, you got to have some setback, which is him failing to take the title off Swerve, who's got to run with that until All In,
and then drop it to Ospreay.
And then drop it to Ospreay, probably.
Well, thank you for this. Thank you guys for joining in. You don't have to watch AEW for the next 9 months. We got it covered there. Boom.
We got that shit mapped out.
Ruby Soho finally wins the title.
He's taking some pointers from us, so
All right, let's talk about the actual wrestling. Let's get back to that.
Okay, so we have all we have left are the 3 Continental Classic matches. I'm getting better actually saying the real name now, guys.
You say Continental almost every time. You just mix in other words with it.
Yeah, I know. So out of these 3 matches, one was 100% match of the night, and the other 2 were match 1B and 1C. Like, every single one of these matches was absolute fire. If I had to rank them myself, which hopefully they'll be different. I'm hoping they'll be a little different. Moxley White 1, Swerve Roosh 2, barely, and then Jay Lethal and Briscoe 3. But that one was phenomenal too.
I would go Swerve Roosh 1, Lethal and Briscoe 2, Mox and Jay White 3, although it's really 1 A, B, and C.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with both of those statements. It's hard to mix them up. And I'm not going to choose a third different ranking just to be that guy. I would say Swerve Roosh 1, Mox White 2. Actually, that is a third different option. Never mind. And then Briscoe Lethal 3rd.
Actually, you know what? I got to change mine. I got to put Briscoe and Lethal 1. Because on live national TV in a pro wrestling match, I saw a burning hammer transition into a J driller as the finish.
Yeah,
and I never thought I would get that on live pro wrestling national TV.
A burning hammer was pretty sweet, though.
I mean, in a match for not last place in your division.
Yeah.
That's pretty damn good. Okay. I'll start with that one.
So Mark Briscoe, Jay Lethal put on an absolute masterclass. Mark Briscoe wins, with the burning hammer into the Jay Driller after Jay Lethal totally stole the move and did a Jay Driller on him, which everybody knows how much I love move stealing.
Get that move steal.
But I feel, gentlemen, that this is going to set Jay Lethal on a path of bringing back Black Machismo.
I don't know if they're going to go as far as Black Machismo, but they're definitely making him face.
Yeah. I would like to see Black Machismo as a one-off. Like, have a reason to do it for something special, like one time. I don't know if that's something they got to do long term, though.
I mean, do I want to see Black Machismo back on my TV every week? Oh, yeah! Will they do it? I doubt it. I doubt it, honestly.
And especially as much as most people are not that thrilled about it, especially with having Ric Flair there occasionally, it just writes itself pretty much to have him bust that out once he's turned babyface for one random backstage segment or something. But I think Jay Lethal's turning face. I assume he still more or less stays in Ring of Honor for the most part, but
I think they both do, honestly.
Yeah, but I think that's good for Ring of Honor. They are Ring of Honor guys long term, but they can still clearly go with the best of them. So it's a great place to have some good talent.
Ring of Honor had a pretty solid pay-per-view over the weekend. So, I mean,
Sure did.
shout out to Billy Starks tearing the house down with Athena, our girl Billy. I think at some point in time, I think Jamie, you might have said it, this could be a tag team up for them. And I feel like that's a solid possibility, but I kind of don't want it. I like kind of what, Mark came out today and said he's basically in his rookie year as being a singles wrestler, right? Which he has actually been a singles champion before, so it's not entirely true. But I like them both in Ring of Honor, both of them as faces. Sure, let's go.
So I know Mark has previously come out and said he is done with tag team wrestling without his brother. Because when this tournament first started, I thought it would be great to have them both. Not that it's great to watch Mark Briscoe lose every week, but to have them both go over, go to a draw in the finish, and that be the thing to put the two Ring of Honor guys, like longtime Ring of Honor guys, together for a run at the tag belts. But Mark has said he's not tag team wrestling.
I get that.
What I would like to see for Mark Briscoe, and I think would be you could tell a really great story and build up to a really good moment for AEW, is having Mark Briscoe be the guy to eventually take the TNT title off Christian.
Oh, wow.
Because I think Christian's doing such good heel work, you kind of don't want him to drop it. But Mark Briscoe is that level of over as a babyface that you wouldn't be sad about Christian's run ending. You would just be happy for Mark Briscoe. And I think he could have a fun run with that title before he drops it to whoever you want to have it next.
Right. And they've been known to not do long title reigns with TNT title either.
Yeah.
Like, he
and
can
you
have
don't
it
need
for a
to
month
either.
and drop it. And cool.
Yeah.
It feels fine.
I kind of feel like he's gonna drop it to Copeland though.
Do you?
I don't want to see Copeland win a title in AEW.
Well, neither do I. But I think that's
not a lesser
do.
title either. If Copeland's going to win a title, the only title that makes sense for who he is the world title. But I don't want him in that picture personally.
But he's got to take the patriarch of AEW's title.
I don't think he needs to.
On his own volition, he's not here for. He doesn't care about the title. He just wants to beat up Christian.
Who knows? He might put over Christian to put Christian even higher. Who knows?
Right. Well, he might just beat him up and it not be a title match, and that's how he gets Christian to agree to his no DQ match at World's End. Right. Don't put the title up. I don't want the title. I want you. Let's go. Right.
I'd be in on that. I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah, I don't think who out of the audience is really that excited about Adam Copeland being the one to win the TNT title. It's fine. You're not sad about it, but look at that and then look at someone like Mark Briscoe and, after losing his brother earlier in the year, but also just being someone that most pro wrestling fans have thoroughly enjoyed for the better part of decades, getting that moment to win that big singles title at AEW. It just seems like a much bigger deal. I mean, there's obviously other options as well, but I think that's a fun thing to do with Mark Briscoe while he's still super hot off this tournament too. You don't have to go right into it, but maybe by Revolution.
Yeah, that's a good point. We'll see how that materializes, because there could be a lot of good avenues there. All right, so let's go into 1B. Swerve versus Roosh, which actually opened up the show, and holy shit, this was a banger above all bangers. Swerve's doing the best work in the ring, period. Roosh is really damn good. I think my favorite thing of the whole damn match was when Roosh was doing his showboat, put his arm up, and next thing you know, Swerve just comes flying in and does an arm bar on it. I'm like, yes. Like, I love that quick transition right into something. Swerve's so damn over. Like, the crowd was like, whose house? Like, again, he's supposed to be a heel, and the crowd's not letting it happen. Because
but
he's
for
just
what it's
so damn
worth,
good.
give some pop to Roosh for that too, because Roosh was selling as a heel in this match. To we know the Swerve's not a babyface, but he's at least proposing his part in the match as, I'm the heel here, right? So I thought that was a good little extra bit, personally.
Yeah, this match was phenomenal. And all three, just depending on what your personal taste is and who you like, could have been the match of the night. It was phenomenal last week of this tournament. And for something where 2 or 3 weeks ago we were sitting here thinking the booking of the tournament seemed a little mailed in and obvious, there was a situation where everybody except for Lethal and Briscoe, there could have been a 4-way tie depending on what happened. It was really well done to build these stakes into the last night, and then to kick it off with one of the best matches of the tournament. This was phenomenal. And with the rules of the tournament, we still have yet to get a draw, but clean finishes. Like, top talent beating top talent. It's just a great night of pro wrestling, kicked off by one of the best matches they've had on Dynamite all year.
I mean, I think they found the good recipe. It's got the old school from the original Dynamite of we're just going to put a banger wrestling matches wall to wall. They've found that good happy medium to have some of that along with good storytelling in the middle, right? This is their happy place. I just hope they don't, because they get out of the tournament, I hope they don't pull back from that and just put out there just some bullshit Wardlow matches every half an hour, right?
Yeah, I think coming out of the tournament and getting into 2024 would be a good time to re-implement your records and rankings, but in a smarter way. Because I think they kicked off with that as an idea, but not a fleshed out concept. And they were just keeping track. But you've got to plan that out a little bit better, when it's going to matter and all that kind of stuff. But the fact, the league play of this tournament has just given the dope matches you were probably going to have anyway stakes and context. So I think you could start. You would have to flesh it out quite a bit, but you could get back to doing rankings, and then when you have a random Roddy versus Commander, it's, hey, this guy's got this record, he's ranked here. This guy's trying to move up because we're going to take this many people and throw them in this gimmick to find a new champion or a new contender. So it just gives a reason for everything that's happening. It doesn't have to be super deep and detailed, but there's room there.
I like that. I have a thought. Jamie, hear me out on this. Okay. We had a promo tonight from Jericho, which Austin didn't want to hear. None of us really did. But it was to kind of update the crowd if they didn't know already that, Kenny Omega is out. He's going to be out for a while, blah, blah, blah. What does this mean for our tag title? Who knows? But one day when you come back, get well better, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Right? So, Jericho's on camera, on record, basically not knowing what his future holds. Maybe after the new year, he's like, hey, I'm going to be the GM of this thing. And I'll tell you what, we had an idea at the beginning. He can call it his idea for all we care, right? He probably will. To have rankings, and that rankings matter. And we got away from that. We didn't do that right. We're going to do that right now. So it gives Jericho something to do, so he keeps his ego happy, give him some screen time, but it'll take that good idea that was listed at the beginning, because you said, they did it before. It was a good idea. It is a good idea. You just didn't execute it right. You pulled it out occasionally and be like, oh, if she wins this, she'll get into the number 1 spot, right? You know, that's a thought that I had. Jamie?
I mean, that's what they probably should do. Now, are they actually going to do it, though? That's the question. Probably not. I believe that I love the win structure, but they definitely got away from it because they got more entertainment based, if you will. But no, I think the main reason they got rid of it was for one Cornelius Montavious Punk, because he didn't wrestle all the time. That was one of the main people they got. The reason why they got rid of it. Oh, he's gone. Fuck him. Bring it back. No offense, but
maybe they do. They could tie the rankings into the Coastal Continental Breakfast Classic Championship at the end of the year. And this would take some substantial planning and more than I'm going to come up with off the cuff in the middle of a podcast. But where it's not every single match every week, it necessarily matters to it. Like, you could have certain matches around the year that are to establish these rankings where the top 12 at the end of the year get into this tournament. And then you've got a thread going throughout the year where it's not such an important deal that every single match is going to have all these implications, but you can kind of keep the interest in this tournament going along the year. Granted, you do run into injury issues and things like that, but you don't finalize your 12 until the end. And if they're out at the end of the year, they're out of the tournament. This tournament has been such a nice change of pace storytelling wise, because there's a reason for the wrestling that's happening on TV.
Right.
And the wrestling's going to be great no matter what. Give us that little bit of context and it's even better.
Well, I mean, I feel like the tournament has precipitated the good wrestling that has followed with it, right? And unfortunately, because of that, they struck gold. They found a good, happy medium between, the just do balls out good wrestling matches and storyline. And I don't know, I just worry about, now that it's over with, we go back into the older pattern, of a good match on show, sort of, right? Maybe 2, and then some other ones that fit stories, and you're trying to force other stories randomly here and there. I feel like it pinpointed them to have better work on their stories, which has been much better storytelling in the past 3-4 months, right? But it also gave you that, that mark that you want to have of just nothing but good matches, right? We'll see. We're speculating that they're going to drop off from it, but who knows? I just hope they don't.
Yeah, no, they've hit their stride. And one kind of underrated aspect of the tournament is it's kind of reset the expectations for the length of a really good wrestling match. Because there has been banger after banger, and they have all been under 20 minutes. Yeah. And you don't necessarily need, 25 to 35 in these like classic epics to have just phenomenal wrestling that tells a good story. But it's also kind of taken them out of everything being in that like 12 to 15 range as well. Like, you're getting a lot more matches in that 15 to 20 range with the best wrestlers in the world, which why shouldn't half your show be the best wrestlers in the world having the best wrestling matches you could possibly see on a Wednesday night?
That's a good question. I have no argument to it.
All right. Let's go to the main event, because it has a lot to go off of here, because Swerve's at 9 points. Mox is at 9 points. And Jay White, Jay White's at 9. John Moxley's at 12, Swerve's at 12. So there's a lot on the line. Jay White wins, and he's at 12, and then you have a 3-way for the semifinal, which I want to get into the Blue League here in a second because I have an idea about what's going to happen there. So this match, did anybody see the sign on the front row that says "Spoiler alert: Moxley's going to bleed"?
Yeah.
Okay, that popped me so hard as soon as
I knew it would.
I was just like, "Oh my god!"
But
this match was amazing.
he didn't
Technical
bleed.
wrestling.
He didn't bleed.
He didn't. Spoiler: he didn't.
Who
No
saw that
blood.
coming?
Now next week though, no holds barred. I bet some blood's gonna happen. So what are they gonna do? Okay, so Jay White wins. After working the knee so much, excellent job. I love the swerve with the 2 chairs. I thought that was such a great move. People bought into it, threw the chair in there, and then hit him in the knee. It would have been really cool to see like a figure 4 or a Texas cloverleaf there. To really focus it on the knee. Yes, I'm not saying the other thing because it doesn't work on knees, contrary to popular belief.
Although you had in the swerve match, you had an almost one-legged lion tamer.
Oh, the high angle Canadian maple leaf? Absolutely.
It was really close to a one-legged lion tamer. He had the knee on the head and everything.
Canadian maple leaf.
Sure, whatever.
Shout out Lance Storm. No, this match was amazing. I technically just chest kiss.
It was everything you wanted in a technical match for sure. Great storytelling. Mox, on top of the wrestling world, he sold the shit out of his knee before, during, after the match. I mean, it was just. And they brought JR out for commentary on it, and they said at the very beginning, JR said, "This is a match you could see in the Tokyo Dome. You would expect to see wherever," and he's 1,000% correct. And we didn't get any disappointment in the match. It lived up to what you thought you were going to get: Moxley versus White. This is what it should have been, right? And it was. It was great.
Yeah, this match was really fun. I like that. Obviously, he worked over Mox's knee. He hit him with the knee in the chair at one point. But Jay White more or less won the match clean, as far as what AEW considers a clean victory.
Right.
And I said it last week. Jay White beats Mox next week. We get our 3-way tie. We get a triple threat, which I still think is probably to get Jay White out of the Gold League so he could lose to whoever comes out of the blue, but who knows? Anything could happen without Swerve having to eat a pin, because I think Swerve's too hot to win this Triple Crown Championship. He's got to go to the top. And I don't think anyone's really excited about seeing Mox win this title. We're excited about seeing Mox wrestle every week and doing, but like Mox doesn't need a championship right now.
No.
Let alone 3 of the same championship, more or less. But yeah, this was great, and it's wild what a difference a couple weeks makes, because week 2 of the tournament, Jay White gets beat by Swerve, and you think, okay, he lost the title match at Full Gear, he lost in the second round of Swerve, he's probably not coming out of this side, but they've done a good job of keeping all their top guys looking strong. Anyone could win this. Phenomenal booking.
And that's what you want. You want it to be open-ended. Now, you said you're going to talk about the Blue League, Jamie. Let's get to that, because they got some interesting math going on over there.
So the Blue League's getting in a fatal 4-way. Calling it now.
I hope not.
It's screaming fatal 4-way.
I hope not. I would love to see that match, the fatal 4-way that would come out of that league. But I think if you're going triple threat in one league, I would like to see a good singles match as a semifinal in the other.
I hear you, but I don't know. I just feel like Jamie's on point with that. That it's telegraphed almost. It's like that's what's going to end up being.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. I just really hope they don't. Like, you don't need to do the multi-man gimmick in both. Because at that point now you've got 7 of the 12 guys in the tournament in the semifinals.
I mean,
like
more
the
or
last
less
5
shit on
weeks
the
didn't do
tournament,
much.
right?
Yeah.
you basically should on the tournament because you've got almost everybody in the semifinals. So
Yeah. And it makes the triple threat coming out of the Gold League seem less. Like, it's cool tonight, now it's announced, but then if it gets stepped on with the 4-way coming out of the other league, then it's like, okay, it's not that special.
what if it's another triple threat? Do they have the possibility to do a triple threat, Jamie, with the way the points are stacked up on the blue side?
Yeah, they definitely do. So, like Bryan Danielson has 9 points right now. Brody King's got 6, but he's going against Daniel Garcia. So if he beats Daniel Garcia, he'll have 9. And then
Danielson wrestles Claudio.
if Claudio wins, he'll have 9. And then Kingston just has to beat El Idolo, Andrade. And if he beats, oh my God. So if he beats it, you could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the gentlemen make it. All with 9 points.
But they did made mention of the tiebreakers, so there's got to be some tiebreakerage going on there.
Yeah, you could end up with like a tie on points, but then the head-to-head still putting 2 clear guys or something like that. I just hope it's just 2 guys, and really any 2 out of the guys that are still open would be fine. But just give me a good one-on-one match in the semifinal coming out of that one.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Well, we're gonna find out Saturday, and we'll get both of those matches next Wednesday. So,
what a fun way to end the year.
Yeah, because if it is the 5-way, here's the thing: Eddie would have a win over Andrade and Claudio, who would be in there, and then Claudio would have a win over Bryan Danielson, Andrade, so that would be there. Brody King would have a win over Claudio and Eddie, so like everybody's beating everybody.
So there's no real.
I think Danielson's beating Claudio.
I think you might have a 3-way, is my guess.
I bet it's 4. I feel 4 now.
I can see 4, but part of me
5's
thinks
a
you'll
bit
have a 3-way.
I think if you're going to do another multi-man, then another 3-way is the way to go. Because then they're just kind of even. Yeah. But even then, like, it's too many people not getting eliminated takes away from the stakes of the last month and a half we just watched.
Right. So basically, this tournament led to half the people being eliminated. The other half still have a shot.
Yeah. Which that seems like too many. Like, one extra person in there is a cool novelty, but we don't need to let everybody.
But you know, Rosa Promotions, how much they love their multi-man matches.
That is true.
All right. Well, fantastic episode tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Again. And we're going to see probably another banger next week. Next week is the go home for World's End. So we are at the end of the Continental Classics. That championship match. We have Joe versus MJF. We have the women's title match, Toni Storm versus Riho. We had the tag match. No idea what's going on with that anymore. And there's been the challenge put out there, Adam Copeland for Christian Cage in a no DQ match. That's probably happening some fashion, right? So,
yeah.
Got a few more matches to fill out. I'm sure we'll get more on the card here coming up here soon. I wouldn't be surprised if you get like a women's match with Thunder Rosa and Julia Hart somehow involved. Maybe a tag match, maybe a something of the nature, maybe a straight up one-on-one match. Who knows?
Yeah, I think they're doing the tag on Collision this week.
They're doing Abaddon and Rosa versus the Daughters of the Black Throne or whatever they're calling themselves.
I think there's an outside chance you get Abaddon versus Julia, or
they've been setting that up, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that would be a fun match to throw on that pay-per-view. It doesn't have to get a ton of time. Like, give them a solid like 8 to 10 to keep that story going. With Thunder Rosa back, you could throw it into a multi-person match, but I think give Julia another pay-per-view title defense. Like, if you're putting that belt on her, you're running with that. Throw her out there on pay-per-view. Give her a singles match with Abaddon.
I think that's
and
a
also
good way
just
to
give
go.
Abaddon a pay-per-view match.
Plus, you're also giving them the tag match this week, so you don't need to do it again. There'll be a few more matches I'm sure will get announced here in the next week and a half. But 10 days away, we got the new belt will be on the line, which I still need to get a picture of that belt, Jamie, so I can make a new graphic. But we'll worry about that later.
You have to pry it out of my cold, dead hands.
Well, I want a graphic for your little. Okay, we'll just keep the old belt on your image here then. Fine.
I still think at World's End they need to throw a 5-on-5 with everyone that didn't make the finals from the Blue League against everyone that didn't make the finals from the Gold League.
There you go.
Like,
love it.
Easy layup. They've all been involved in this tournament, so they're not involved in really other stuff. It's just a fun, just crazy 5-on-5 spot fest. Just like, who would want to see that on their pay-per-view?
Make it a Survivor
style.
Series style.
Yeah. I'm in.
We will be back next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. We'll have our last words before the pay-per-view. So again, a week from Saturday is World's End. We will have picks. We will talk about the belt afterwards. But next week we have the go home show and everything getting ready for that. If it's your first time here, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends. We do appreciate it. I want to wish everybody out there a very safe holidays this season. Please have good holidays, whatever you celebrate, or if you don't celebrate at all, enjoy a few days off of work, hopefully. If you are working and you don't celebrate, well, have a good day no matter what day it is. All right. So we'll be back next week, same bad time, same bad channel. Austin, Jamie, any final words?
No.
Nah. Solid night of Dynamite. Looking forward to the last couple weeks to close out the year and hopefully keep that all rolling into 2024.
Let's see where we go. So thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. We appreciate you giving us some of your time. Jamie, take us home, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down Total Spotfest, I got 6 words for you.
That was close. That was so close.
Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays.
Take care, y'all.
Peace.
Later.